Welcome to Module 2 Waveguide Components and its application. Until now we have seen how an coaxial cable can be coupled to a waveguide and also different impedance matching elements like windows, tuning screws, ports, waveguide phase shifters. Now it's time to push the bar and learn different microwave junctions such as magic T, E-plane T, H-plane T, directional couplers and circulators. Now let us know what is a T junction. A waveguide junction with 3 or 4 independent ports is called as a T junction. Today let us discuss about E-plane T and H-plane T. T is formed by connecting two or more microwave devices. In this case, now I am considering the two waveguides here. The first waveguide here, see, this is a continuous one. This is a continuous one, whereas this is an extra added one. This extra added one are called as the branch or the side waveguide, whereas which one, the one which is continuous is called as the main waveguide here. This is called as main waveguide, whereas this one and this one are called as the side waveguide or called as the side waveguide. Now see, when I am taking the main waveguide, the electric field direction will be like this. This will be in the upward direction, and here also it will be in the upward direction. This is the direction of your electric field here. Now let us take the axis of the branches. Now if I am taking the axis of the branch is like this, and in this case the axis of the branch is like this. Now in the first figure, the axis of this side branch and the electric field direction are parallel to each other. That's the reason it is called as the E-plane T, and further it can also be called as a series T. Whereas in the figure B, if you are taking the direction of electric field and the axis of the side branch, they both are perpendicular. That's the reason it is called as a shunt T, because the axis of the branch is going to shunt the electric field. That's the reason it is called as a shunt T, or also it can be called as a H-plane T here. Now let me show how these figures will be looking like. Now these are the two components. This is called as a H-plane T. This is called as a H-plane T. This is the main waveguide, a continuous one, and this one is the branch waveguide. If I am speaking about the direction of the electric field here, the direction of the electric field is nothing but like this, in the upward direction. If I am taking the axis of the branch waveguide is like this. That is, these both are perpendicular to each other. That's the reason it is called as a branch. That's the reason it is called as an NNA shunt T or H-plane T. Coming to this one, see carefully here. Now this one is actually a magic T. Now I am just ignoring this part, and what it will be left over with the 3 ports. Now if I am ignoring this part here, then it is called as an NNA E-plane T. This one is called as an NNA E-plane T. See, this is a main waveguide, a continuous one having the port 1 and the port 2, and this is a branch waveguide here, okay, which is coming from the top portion of the main waveguide. Now if I am considering the electric field direction, it will be like this. The electric field direction in this case is like this here. Now if I am taking the axis of this branch, it is like this. That is, both are parallel to each other. That's the reason it is called as a E-plane T, or simply called as a series T here, okay, clear with this. Now in this one, the branch 1 has been attached to the main waveguide from the top plane of the main waveguide. It can be attached from the bottom part also. If it is attached from the top plane or the bottom plane of the main waveguide, it is called as a E-plane T or series T. If it is attached from the side walls, then what happens? It will be called as an H-plane T. These are the two things. It is actually a magic T, but if I am ignoring this part here, this port completely if I am ignoring, then it is called as a E-plane T. And this one is called as an H-plane T. Now let us understand some properties of the T junctions as a result of the behavior of the electromagnetic fields passing through this junction. Now the first case I am considering the input from the port 3. Input from the port 3 I am considering. Port 3 is nothing but your side branch port here. Now if I am introducing some wave from the port 3, the output will be obviously from the port 1 and the port 2 here. As the electric field direction, is like this here in the E-plane T, that is the branch T here. Now as this wave is progressing towards here, when it is reaching the junction, that is a T junction, where lot of discontinuities are present. Once it is reaching to this particular point, the wave bends, and when it starts to bend here, it will be resulting into the two waves, one from the port 1 and which will be out from the port 2 here. Now if you are seeing carefully here, these two fields are having same magnitude, but they are having the different polarities. This is how the output will be seen in case if I am injecting the input from the port 3 here. Similarly, we can see even taking an example where the two inputs are entering from the port 1 and the port 2, and the output is resulting at the port 3 here. Now I have introduced two energy fields, one from the port 1 that is showing a dark line, and another from the port 2 which is showing a dotted line. After reaching at the junction, because of the discontinuous, there is a slight variation in their behavior, and further if they are when they are entering through the port 3 here, I am going to see there is a resultant of two different fields. The output at the port 3 is nothing but the differences of these two fields entering from the port 1 and the port 2 here. If I am saying that both are having same magnitude and are opposite in their polarity, they will cancel and the resultant field in the side arm will be 0. In the resultant it will be the 0 here in this case. Similarly, we can work for the H-plane T also. The analysis can be done how I can introduce one from the side branch, and how can I observe the output at the port 1 and the port 2. And in the another case, I can consider how I am considering the input from the side branch and expecting the output from the port 1 and the port 2 here. Now from this here we can conclude that the maximum energy leaves the side arm of the E-plane T when the waves entering the junction through the main two arms are in the phase opposition here. Similarly, if I am taking the case of the H-plane T here, the maximum energy is delivered to the side arm if and only if the waves entering the junction through the main branches are in phase to each other. Today we have seen two T's. One is the E-plane T, which is also called as series T. In this, the axis of the side arm is parallel to the electric field in the main branch here. Next is the H-plane T here, which is also called as a shunt T. In this, the axis of the side arm is perpendicular to the electric field of the main waveguide here. That is, if a branch arm has been introduced or attached to the main waveguide from the top or the bottom plane of the main waveguide, it is called as a E-plane T. If it is attached from the side planes of the main waveguide, it is called as a H-plane T here. Now, the only one thing you have to remember, that if you are expecting the maximum energy level from the side arm of an E plane, you should introduce the electric field of the same magnitude but in the opposite direction. Then the output what you will be going to get will be the maximum. But if you are taking the case of an H plane T, if you are taking the case of the H plane T, if you are going to introduce the fields from the main arms having same magnitude and same polarity, then you can get the maximum output.